Are you thinking that maybe you want to come up with the next big idea? Does that come in your head at all?
I prefer to have as few ideas as possible.
Lovely. Very good. Now, you do have a very strong political vein. What got you into being involved in
Well,
politics?
it's not so much a political vein, it's just the notion that we're in a transitional period in human history where we're complementing representative democracy, based in the Constitution. We're complementing that with true grassroots democracy. It's only become possible now in large numbers with the internet, and it's happening for real. Just a couple weeks ago, we restored constitutional rule of law in the country, and the new administration is actively enhancing the culture of participation which runs our government. Again, we've had representative democracy, but now ordinary people will have a voice in the running of the country. There are some real practical problems to be solved, because when you have tens of millions of people saying what they feel, how do you get the best feedback and suggestions? Again, that'll be another form of collaboration, with, the operative term is collaborative filtering, and it's going to take a while, but it's already started and it's for real.
And it's wonderful to be able to have that voice and be interconnected like we are. What is the biggest change that the internet has made to us? What is the biggest thing it has brought us?
There's a bunch of things, but fundamentally it's connected people more. And sometimes we use those connections for business, sometimes to socialize, and sometimes to change the way we run our lives.
I have a quote here from your blog again. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. What does that mean to you?
Well, I heard that some time ago, and it had some intuitive appeal, maybe a little harsh, but the idea is that sometimes when you're doing something, maybe you get it started or whatever, but you need to know when to get out of the way, because your skills may not be the right ones. For example, Jim Buckmaster runs Craigslist now because my management skills are, charitably speaking, limited. When it came to the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, people took over our New Orleans site, repurposed it, used it as they needed, and we just stayed out of the way, keeping it going. But if somebody wanted to use the site differently than we intended, that was fine, because people did use the site to let survivors let friends and family knew where they were headed. Friends and family asked where people wound up located if they survived, and people started offering housing and jobs to survivors. Not our usual use of the site, but that worked.
Yeah, and it sees people want to help. I mean, their true essence is to help each other.
Yeah. The idea is that, and I have to get the exact quote from Clay Shirky, another pretty good commentator on the net, who says that there is a surplus of people who want to participate, who want to help out, but there were never mechanisms around that allowed people to help out in large numbers. That's happening now.
It's wonderful to see. And I think the current administration is bringing that out in us, or at least giving us the motivation to be there to help each other and to speak out for what we feel and empower our children to get involved.
Yeah, the previous administration discouraged that. The new administration got elected by embracing this participatory culture.
Now, you're also involved in a lot of nonprofits. Can you talk about some of those that are interesting to you?
I'm involved in a handful, focusing on ones which use the net to do something we always could do, but not in a scalable way. For example, Kiva.org allows people to pool money for microfinance. Donors Choose allows people to pool money to help fund classroom projects, because teachers are always having to pay for these things out of their pockets, and they don't make much to begin with. I'm involved with the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, because we found out, I found out to my surprise, that the previous administration didn't support the troops. Now we have an administration which is doing so, like with the new GI Bill, and so on. There's also Sunlight Foundation, which focuses on building a network of sites which put on online databases relating to how government actually works, in terms of lobbyists and contributions and contracts, congressional records, and so on. There's a lot of these things going on now, and I'm trying to help out in very modest ways seems to be working.
And we can keep updated on what's going on. You have a blog. And I believe we have underneath right there, right?
I do have a little blog called cnewmark.com.
Okay.
On it, I'll either be amusing myself, like you'll see photos of birds that appear on my deck.
There's a lot of birds on it,
Or I'm
yes.
very excited about glittens, which are neither gloves nor mittens, but both.
Those are the little ones that you can pull up, and then they're
I'm
gloves.
very excited about those. I just got a second pair mailed to me.
Very
But
good.
you'll also see me doing serious stuff, but almost always I'm promoting the efforts of people a lot smarter than me who are doing really good stuff.
Very good. Do you now self-identify as a nerd?
I've always been a nerd. I mean, in high school, I really did wear a plastic pocket protector.
You really did?
I really did. Speaking literally,
Okay.
I had thick black glasses at 2 different periods taped together, and I did speak pretty literally. Part of the dysfunction about being a nerd is that you speak literally and take things literally. And you can grow out of that, but there's still the core that remains.
Now, I'm quoting from your blog once again. Star Trek fandom, among other things, is dominated by optimism in the future, that people can work together to make things better. Maybe recent events have indicated that.
Yeah, the deal is Star Trek is about the future getting better. It's taking work and people working together, but this is my somewhat facetious way of saying that that's what the new administration is about. And frequently when I speak, there's this Oscar Wilde quote, if you want to tell people the truth, make them laugh, otherwise they'll kill you.
I like
so,
that.
I may be facetious at times, but that contains a nugget of what I think might be truth.
Our city right now, is it behind in internet as far as user ability to be able to connect anywhere? I mean, shouldn't we be up to speed on that by now?
We're doing, let's say, okay in San Francisco as other cities in the country go. The country is a bit behind some other countries like South Korea, but that has to do more with the telecom business than anything else.
Now, where do you see our future in San Francisco? Where do you see it?
In a way, more of the same. We're doing a pretty good job moving ahead, both in technology and also the use of the technology that keeps plugging ahead.
And now the one pet peeve I have is just that I think that there's so many people using devices in front of a screen and that. What about personal communication, one-on-one, face-to-face? Do you think that suffers?
What we're finding is that people use the electronic communications to complement real-life communication. It adds to it, although that may be more true of the young than the older folks.
And lastly, what is a technology that's coming that excites you?
Nothing specific. I just observe, though, that mobile devices, our phones, will get smarter and smarter, and that's how a lot of people will connect to the net.
Through their phones. Now, as the phones get smarter, do we get dumber, or are we following along in suit?
I think overall we're getting smarter.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. And it's been wonderful speaking with you. Thank you so much for being on and creating such a wonderful community space. And once again, if you don't know Craigslist, of course you know Craigslist.org. If you haven't been there, I'm sure everybody here has been there in San Francisco.
Could be.
Very good. Thank you very much, Craig Newmark. This has been SF Live TV. I'm your host, Christina Marie Flores. Thank you for joining us.